Hi guys, so welcome to our very first lesson that we're going to do. From now on, we're going to do things a little bit differently, and Mariah and I, we're going to pre-record our lessons, and then I'm going to post mine on Friday nights, and then Mariah's going to post hers on Monday nights. And so that'll just give you guys something to watch, so you're not watching all the older people's lessons and stuff. But also, I just want to say that I really miss you guys. I miss seeing you guys all the time. And I'm really praying for you guys that you guys are staying healthy and then just trying to find some fun things to do while you're stuck at home. So, yeah. Okay, so we're going to get started. And today, our lesson is titled Paul Listened to God. And our lesson is going to be found in the book of Acts. And so, if you guys remember, I kind of asked you guys how, where, the book that our story takes place in, if it's in the Old Testament or the New Testament. So, the book is Acts, and so is that in the Old Testament or New Testament? I'll give you guys just a few seconds to think about it. And, and the answer is the New Testament. So, if you got that right, good job. If you didn't, that's okay. We're going to have more lessons, so you have more time to think about it and get them right next time. And then also, our weekly Bible verse is found in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, and verse 6. And this verse, it kind of just goes along with, the lesson we have each time. And so, the verse this week it says, God helps me, and I will not be afraid. So, now we're going to go into the story and just kind of be thinking about that verse as we go through the story and see how God, helps the characters and makes them not be afraid. So, and like I said, the story is found in Acts chapter 15, verse 36 through chapter 16, verse 12. So, Paul and Barnabas decided to visit the towns where they had told people about Jesus. Barnabas wanted to bring along another disciple named Mark, but Paul did not want Mark to join them. Barnabas and Mark went a different way. Paul chose Silas to travel with him. They traveled to the churches that Paul had originally started. They traveled through Syria, Cilicia, Derbe, and Lystra. While they were in Lystra, Paul met a young man named Timothy. The people at Lystra spoke highly of him, and Paul asked Timothy to join him and Silas on their journey. They talked with the churches that they started, and they told more people about Jesus. God told Paul not to go to Asia. They tried to go another way, but again, God said no. Paul listened to God, and during the night, Paul had a dream. A man from Macedonia stood over him, saying, "Come to Macedonia, we need help." So Paul, Silas, and Timothy left immediately. They knew God wanted them to tell the good news about Jesus with people in Macedonia. Alright, so to just kind of quickly go back over the lesson and summarize some key points and stuff, Paul and another man named Barnabas, they went to visit the other churches that they had started in other towns. But before they had left, Barnabas wanted to bring along another guy named Mark. But Paul didn't want Mark to come. He thought that it should just be him and Barnabas. And so they kind of got mad at him, and they ended up going somewhere completely different. And so Paul ended up choosing another guy named Silas to go with him. And so they traveled to the old churches, the other churches that they had set up and stuff in the other towns, and they wanted to encourage the people in those churches and just help them out and see how they're doing and stuff. And once they got there, they had seen how many people had joined the church after they left, and they're like, whoa. And so that just shows, after hearing the good news of Jesus, how many people just came in and wanted to be a part of it. And so while they were in Lystra, Paul met another guy named Timothy. And since the people in that town, they're like, oh, Timothy, he's such a great guy, they spoke very highly of him. And so Paul was like, hey, why don't you come and join us and come with us? And so they went on their way, and they kept stopping at all the churches and everything, and they just kept telling everybody about Jesus. And so, they came to a point in their trip where they're like, man, like, where should we go next? And so they were thinking, they're like, maybe we should go to Asia. And then God told Paul, he's like, no, like, don't go there. Like, you don't need to go there. And so then they're like, well, maybe we should go to another place. Okay, so the video kind of stopped in the middle of what I was saying. So we're going to go back to the point where I was talking about where they were trying to decide where they're going. So, like, they were going to all the churches and everything, and they just came to this point where they're like, I don't really know where we should go next. So they were just throwing out ideas, and they're like, maybe we should go to Asia. And God ended up talking to Paul, and he was like, no, like, don't go there. That's not where you need to go. And so then they were talking about it some more, and they're like, well, maybe we should go to Bithynia. And then again, God was like, no, like, you don't need to go there. And so they listened to God, and they just kept praying about it, and they just stayed where they were. But then that night, Paul had a dream, and a man from Macedonia, like, was standing over him saying, come to Macedonia, like, we need your help now. And so then they're like, wow, like, that's where we need to go, like, that's what God's telling us to do. So they went, and like, they left, like, as soon as they woke up, they're like, we're going, like, we are going right now. And so they listened to God, and they went to Macedonia, and like, everybody they saw there, they're like, this, like, telling everybody the good news about Jesus. And so they ended up, they were just telling everybody the good news about Jesus and everything turned out okay. So, just some questions to go along with the story to maybe help you, like, comprehend everything. One question is, why did Paul visit the churches that he had started? Give you guys a few seconds to think about it. Okay, so the reason that Paul wanted to go visit all the churches that he had started is he just wanted to kind of check on them and encourage them and to keep pushing them to telling people about Jesus. And so next, the second question is, why did many people join the churches that Paul had started? Okay, so the reason that many people joined all those churches is because, like, they heard the good news about Jesus, and they're like, man, like, this is great. This is so awesome. And so they just stuck with it, and they just kept going. And the next question is, how did God help Paul? Okay, so God actually helped Paul a couple ways in this story. The first one is that, like, in the very beginning when he was with Barnabas, and Barnabas wanted Mark to come with them, he was kind of like, no, like, they don't need to come. And so he didn't, like, really fight with him about it. He just told him, like, no. And so that was God helping Paul to just be nice and just stay calm in the whole situation. And another way that God helped Paul is that when Paul and Silas got to Lystra, they found another guy named Timothy to help them out along the way in the rest of their journey. So that's another way. They also, the biggest way that I think stands out the most in the story that God helped Paul is how they were trying to figure out, like, where to go and everything and where they should go next. And they were throwing out answers, and God just kept telling them no, like, nope, don't go there. And so they were just still, and they just waited, and they went to sleep, and God sent Paul a dream, and the man in the dream was saying, like, go to Macedonia, like, they need help. And so, like, through the dream, that's how God was telling them, like, where that they need to go next, and the reason why he said no to all the other places. And then the final question is, what did Paul do in Macedonia? Okay, and so what Paul did in Macedonia is the same thing that he did at all the other churches that he visited and started up. He just started telling people about Jesus, and they just all came together, sharing the good news and building people up. All right, so those are the questions. And again, we're going to go over the weekly Bible verse, and it's found in Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 6. It says, God helps me and I will not be afraid. And so if you see like in this story, really like the whole main point of it is just to listen to God, and like the main thing that he tells us to do is to go out and tell other people about Jesus. And so like this verse applies to it, how if you just go out and start talking to people about Jesus, God's going to help you along the way. He's going to give you the words to say, and he's just going to make it all possible. You might get rejected by the people you're talking to, but in the end it's all going to work out and he's going to help you through it. And it also, like, when he helps you, he's going to help you, like, not to be scared. He's going to give you, like, the wisdom and the words to say and and everything like that. And so now, with this video, I have posted this worksheet. So parents, if you want to help them, just on like a separate piece of paper, just like read the instructions, and they're pretty simple. And then also the second activity I have for you guys is, okay, so the only thing you need for this is like a marker or pen, pencil, crayon, whatever, just anything that you can write with, and some index cards. Or if you don't have index cards, just piece of paper, you can cut them out small. And so you print the weekly verse words on 2 sets of index cards. So you're going to get like the cards or the piece of paper or whatever, and you're going to write 1 word on each like card, but you're going to do that twice. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to like mix them all up on the table and lay them face down, and then the kids, they need to like flip them over. It's like a matching game. You flip them over and you match like the words together, and then you once they have all the words matched together, they should try to like place them to where they like say the whole verse. And so again, that verse is Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 6. It's real short. God helps me, I will not be afraid. Alright, so that's about all I have for this lesson. I just made it real short and simple. But again, I just want to let you guys know that I'm praying for you, and I miss you guys so much. I miss that being together, and I really wish we could be. And then I also just want to invite you guys on Sundays. We're doing the drive-in services. It's different than the live thing, so it's just a lot of fun. And even though we're not getting to get together and hug on everyone, it's still just a really good time. So I invite you guys to come out with that. And then that's about it. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, and I love you guys.